New research suggests that postmenopausal women who've had a higher intake of trans fats may be more at risk for a stroke than others. Joining us to discuss is women's health expert Dr. Danica Moore. Dr. Moore, great to see you.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit more about this research.
Yeah, this is another study from the Women's Health Initiative, which is the largest study ever of women orchestrated by the National Institutes of Health. It's being published today in the Annals of Neurology, and it looked at over 84,000 women who were over age 50. Now, the way this study was done is that they did a dietary survey at the baseline and then again 3 years later. So it gave us just a snapshot of what these women's diets were like. And what they found was the group of women who consumed the highest amount of trans fats, which was 6.1 grams per day, had a 39% increase of what we call ischemic stroke, which is the most common kind of stroke that there is.
And so what is the link exactly? The link is the trans fats?
The link is the trans fats. And what we believe, and of course this study is not the kind of study that was done in a lab and showed us the reason. The hypothesis is that very similarly to the way trans fats can increase your risk of heart disease or a heart attack, plaque buildup in your arteries to your brain can increase your risk of stroke or a brain attack.
Now, what are the symptoms of a stroke?
Well, this is important for every person to know, and a stroke is a medical emergency. There's 5 main symptoms, S-T-R-O-K-E, six.
Right.
One of them's memory loss. The first one is S, and this is for any change in your speech. A sudden acute change, slurring of your speech. Next one, T for tingling or new numbness anywhere in your body. R is for remembering. So this is where you have a loss of memory, not where are my keys, but the keys are in your hand and you don't remember what they're for.
Right.
That kind of memory loss. The next one is O for being off balance. So kind of the way you would be if you were extremely drunk, but no alcohol was involved. K, killer headache, worst headache of your life, you think your head is going to explode. And E would be for any damage to your eyes or visual impairment.
Would you have any or all of these symptoms?
You could have any or all. And the reason it's important for everyone to know about this is, for example, if you're having a stroke and you have speech problems and balance problems, you're not only going to be not able to tell me what's going on, but you're not going to be able to walk to the phone, dial 911, and be able to tell them what's wrong.
And time is of the essence here,
Time is of the essence because there are emergency medical therapies that can be instituted which can dramatically change the outcome.
Can a stroke be deadly?
It can be deadly, but in most cases it's not deadly, and that's why it's the fourth most common fourth most common cause of death, but it's the leading cause of disability in the United States.
So we've known that trans fats are not healthy for anyone, but now we have an added reason to not eat them when we're older, correct?
Well, absolutely, and throughout our lives. I mean, certainly our children shouldn't be getting these either. And in fact, when I was discussing this morning with my teenage daughter, the very first thing she did when I told her what I was going to be talking about is look at the labeling on the cereal box to see that there was no trans fat.
So what should we be avoiding?
We should be avoiding trans fat at all costs on the label. Now, where are trans fats? Processed foods, baked goods, fried foods. So basically everything that you're eating out in fast food restaurants has probably been exposed to some trans fat content. On the labels, the packaging labels, a huge loophole, and this is very controversial with the FDA, is that manufacturers are allowed to say 0 trans fat if it has less than 0.5 gram per serving. So you may still be getting trans fat in your diet without even realizing it. And then, of course, in restaurants, you have no idea what kind of oils they're using. But in places like New York City, restaurants have now been banned from using oils with trans fats.
And it's important to remember vegetable oils like olive oil, for instance, don't have trans fats.
And that could be one of the huge advantages of diets like the Mediterranean diet. So this is where an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. The other very important aspect of this study, though, that shouldn't be overlooked is that they also found that women who took a baby aspirin once a day were able to reduce that risk even if they were in the high trans fat group. So every woman over 50 should have a conversation with her doctor about what her personal risk for stroke and heart disease is and whether she should be taking a baby aspirin a day.
That's a significant reduction.
It's a significant reduction, and it's a very easy, very inexpensive preventive tool. It's not for everybody.
But are there any side effects?
Yes,
there are.
Of course, one of the big risks of aspirin use is increasing your risk of bleeding. So this is why we can't make the blanket recommendation to everybody, and this is why each person needs to talk to their own doctor about whether the benefits would outweigh the risks.
Dr. Danica Moore, thank you so much.
Thank you.